There is a need to continue on treason. So treason, those requirements, the article needs to be clear if addressing the largest is the audience in rankings of that release, the more chances of harm, bodily injuries to one person or more, or death, the more that article has to be removed from press, going as an FBI agent or CIA with badge and knocking on the doors of agency and saying, hello, take down the article, because as a result of that article right now there are, for instance, persons that are armed around the office of the president of the United States, and we do not want to shoot them because of your press releases that misinform or are incomplete, and in rage we cannot explain those to those persons what those releases actually intend to do apart from harming the active president of the United States. And so again, to be able to do so without harming those journalists, let's be famous worldwide in the United States from actually not harming neither whistleblowers nor journalists, and I trust that it is so that if I provide my name I am safe anywhere, including in situations where there is misunderstanding, from being harmed. It has not been so, but it has been less not so done in some other countries. That's for sure. I mean, I'm alive and movable, that is, and I don't need painkillers or any medication, which is a huge progress from where I was living before. Being assaulted at even ground runs when I tried to appear or represent a group. So that is, let alone recorder, I mean, that was close to impossible to even use it. And that is what my life was somewhere else. So it is dangerous. However, it is good to request first and last name and request nicknames when these connections from other countries are not useful or are disturbing and change the scope of the message. When we report to FBI as being policeman or any other professional, we do not lie. We do not lie. If message is convoluted, even child can file a report to FBI. It has to be such, even if it's a drawing with a heart, that has to have someone reading it, assume that that person is reporting social problem pro bono, which means to harm none. And so all of anger is interpreted as a person is in distress because others are dying or being harmed, or harmed, or self is dying or being harmed, and seek where and who is responsible. Very little is funny from that, actually, if distress is shown. So to also prevent persons then from being locked up in some sort of a padded clinic that I've been witnessing a severe behavior, we treat those reports seriously. And now how to, excuse me for my hair, how to then analyze article. We take, because persons can lack knowledge, but if there is distress, we need to pinpoint what it is socially that is socially harmful, because it takes more than one to have anger. The same as love, it takes at least two to be able to feel that love. If I desire a person, that person does not feel that way, it makes face like that is what stops it. I mean, there's no way that that person can be desiring me, and vice versa. And so the same is with anger, sadness, with everything. And that is why reporting of a crime, a potential crime or crime such as treason, again, has to follow the rules, like I said. Not have acronyms, abbreviations, not have slang, and also the meaning needs to be such that in intent it is for greater good at expense of none. It is to be learned. There is no other. If article aims at having someone killed, which is not even forces who are armed, never a scope of such. A scope of using pressure is to intimidate person who is in active action to injure or hurt or have someone forced to do so. That is what intimidation is for, with weapons or with other things. Intent is never to kill, like Robin Hood, that had Marion in front and armed anywhere, as long as she was not harmed, with skill. Not that he could not shoot, with skill. To be able to remove even apple from her head, in case she would have, for instance, I don't know, a bomb, also being ingenious to how to remove it. What it is good for if someone shoots at persons to kill or to harm body parts. Useless completely. Or vehicles to explode. That is not work. That is being an amateur and an idiot. That is not. I've never done that. Not even as reporting. And I hate games like that. I've never played games like that. Children who play these games, they need to be taught. The kids in the United States in libraries should be reprimanded and those games removed. If they want to play something that is to play, I don't know, strategic games, something that makes sense. There is no strategy in which, also in medicine, I can save one person's life at expense of another. Can I take out a healthy person's body parts or do injury to a person to save another? No, because one will be killed, regardless of how good or bad that person is. The same is for government. So be mindful also what you call famous or weak. Weak is being unskilled, harming at least some. That is idiocy, basically, not humanism. No one is impressed with that. Just like in that movie, My Cousin Vinny, about the deer. And persons are then feared. A person who can slaughter an animal is feared with children and with spouses. And such accusations, when somebody does not do it, are because that person's actions and trainings reflect on others. So what does, again, press do? Release of press about treason is intent at having the United States president in such fear that he may not be able to eat or be able to function normally because of press release about treason. That's what the treason does. So FBI agent protects health, mental health of that president and family, and protects them from things like hurting one another or hurting others or treason. That's what the press is for, like mine, okay? All of the press, especially the famous one. The second is when the president is in such situation, before crime is committed, press is to inform masses that the president is so harmed or under such pressure that the president is about to be able to obtain gain that others have in disproportionate way, such as ability to have own privacy. He's about to, even if possible, disappear, giving the federal government to some foreign agency because of how badly the president is treated or his wife. That is treason. Another way to another example of treason is when that is not treason, but person accuses of treason, and the president then enacts it, being forced to do so with accusations or threats, which is very common. And that person is capable of going to legal custody as newly trained police officers, hopefully, that I am also contributing to, and I can be hired and do more individually, will do. How do we know? Again, article, if there is treason, has also is based on testimony of president, and that testimony is not private confession of remorse of doing something wrong. That is not good enough. It has to be what he has done, why he has done it, and then he has to have emotional basis that is actually compatible with committing treason. To understand, we cannot second guess from what person is saying. What I can do, and like any other mental health specialist, is talk to a person and know what that person is saying, understanding, and then ask, verify with persons, is this correct? That when you said that last word in hatred, it means that you refuse, that you deny that you have done any harm, and you hate the person who made such statement because that poses life risk to you or your family? Or is there any other context of that? Emotions are not fake. If person is crying and saying, yes, that is what is happening, I feel like I am being unfairly accused, what I have done in proportions to what others have done is for me death risk every day and I cannot concentrate. For others it is being praised for harassing me. That's an example. And that person is not sick or in need of being drugged unless we do not have any other alternatives as agents there, for instance, to discipline persons from doing so and encourage them to do something else than try to always humiliate the most important persons, to break the marriage apart, to impress some other female, or how person is attractive because the Mrs. President smiled. Get real. If she would fall for, because you've destroyed the husband, that person, that is real love. So you are harming yourself and that person, and then if you reject that person's attention, when the spouse vests then that faith that you can care for that person, if you indeed love that much that person, then that person trusted you to do so, and you've let down. If that spouse is hurt, not only that spouse, and you are at fault of harming that person, but also that person who divorced that person, be it as an organization or as agents around, and that is not okay. It is derivative of treason. Respect for marriages is about respecting free will of the two, not treating persons against will as if persons were breeding dogs or minkies. None of us is such. It's a little dumper than whoever else. The same is for all of those doctors there. Get a grip on reality. You are not the person, therefore you cannot know if the person is hungry or what that person feels like eating. And killing, it creates hatred. And whatever is harm, pinch yourself. Would you be able to be calm? Or harm somebody else and see if you would be able to be calm if that was your child, or not go and ask a foreign government to intervene, to have others at peace, if that's what he did. And that it depends. If he's a signee, for instance, of international organization and he could not, was unable in 40 or 50 states discipline police from looting for instance, international social security agency, that is not treason. That is actually asking for support to discipline our own country. And there is no acceptable laws planned. Reporting of past facts, that's what happens. Never there is a plan to harm anyone of any military action. Learn that finally and teach that in schools. And if not, hire me, I can teach you that.